Alright guys, back again with my man Rob on the Turbo Tonner. It's been a couple of days since we got this thing off the dyno, and we finally got a break in the weather. That weather was absolutely shocking.
Oh man, I've been hanging out to drive this thing so bad.
The drive home was just horrible with the car on the trailer. It was just beaten down with rain, and the traffic on, it was a Friday afternoon, so the traffic on the freeway, everyone trying to, get away for the weekend, yuck. But we're finally here, and we're finally going to take it for a run. Are you excited?
Look, I'm 90% excited, 10% scared.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
That's it. Like, it made a little bit more power than you thought it would. It made a bit more power than you probably initially wanted.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to give any back, right?
No.
So
No, we'll have none of that.
So literally, other than driving it off the trailer and to the end of your street and back, you haven't driven it yet.
No, because it was ringing wet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
so, street, turn around, pull up the right way.
And to add to that, you've never driven a forced induction V8 before.
No, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, first attempt at it. It's nice and dry. We do have some clouds around, but hopefully the rain will hold out and we can get a couple of half-decent pulls out of it.
And hopefully I won't scream like a girl.
That would be nice. I can edit that out, but I'm not going to lie, I probably won't.
Yeah.
All right, mate. What do you reckon? Let's take this thing for a spin.
Finally.
Let's do it.
Oh.
You ready, bro? Nothing has been changed.
My nana could drive it, mate.
She might have a hard time with that heavy duty clutch, but for the most part it's still pretty good, man.
It's not as jerky as it was before with those shaved heads and the everything being bumped up.
Yeah.
Real touchy throttle, it's smoother. Like the just everything working is smoother. It's not like what?
With that little bit less compression. I guess having the turbine sort of in line of the exhaust system controlling the pulses from your cam as well, that'll probably be helping with your drivability a little bit.
Like controlling scavenging or something?
Yeah, maybe. But, I mean, really, props has to go to Shannon at Tune Corp.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what, that dude is just something else, isn't he?
How easy he made it look too.
Oh yeah, that's just experience. I mean, we literally went from 500 wheel horsepower, obviously because we're using a Boost T, which is a little bit of an ancient way of boost control, but we're using a Boost T, so we went from the 500 wheel and we kind of guesstimated where it was going to be. We kind of thought we'd sneak up on it a little bit, and bang, it went straight to 13 pound.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with the mat. Like, it pulled clean from start to finish, made 625 at the hubs. I won't say wheel horsepower because the internet will get angry.
Yes.
But 625 at the hubs, 13 pound of boost. This is on pump fuel, and boost is all in by 3400.
Yep.
So we'll get it out on the highway and ease your way into it.
Yeah, it'll be a very, very, very baby pull.
We're not going to go full third and fourth gear wide open pull straight off the bat.
I'm starting to feel nervous. This is probably something that you never forget, I guess. You'd be like, when you're 70 years old, remember that first time that I wound that boost on?
And here it comes.
So nice and easy.
Oh. Wow.
like, okay, we might go a bit faster now. Ping!
Yeah. I did catch a glimpse of the boost gauge, and literally you crept up on the vacuum till it hit 0, and then you more or less just pushed into it, and it was just bang.
Yeah.
Full boost.
That was a baby pull.
It was.
But I could certainly feel that those back tyres struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they weren't having a good time. They weren't having as good a time as we were. Now, it's probably no secret at this point, but you didn't want a turbo, did you?
No.
You were almost dead against it to begin with. You wanted a positive displacement blower.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted.
Like
Probably
for ages.
a H122.
Yep.
Or maybe a Magnuson 1900. Whatever we could find. Obviously, this was done on somewhat of a budget, and we're going to touch on how much this cost a little bit later on. But it wasn't a no expense spared build. We didn't cut any corners, but we also didn't spend money where it didn't need to be spent.
Yep.
But now we've gone away from the Harriet blower or the Magnuson and went with the turbo. How stoked are you on it now?
Yeah, I'm shaking, honestly. Okay, second, we'll just kind of, a bit like this. That just hit up the tires.
Yeah,
That wasn't going anywhere.
That wasn't much grip to be had there. Wowee. Sounds phenomenal. When that gate cracks open. Well, this has never happened in the history of anything. And Rob has graciously offered me the keys. I've literally moved this car about 10 metres out of Kurt's shed before.
Nobody has driven this car. I'm obsessed with this car.
Yeah.
The valet parking at the 5-star bloody hotel in Perth, I parked this car myself.
Yeah.
And he parks Ferraris and Porsches.
Yeah. Got the inside lane. Yeah, no, that likes it.
It's a switch, eh?
Yeah, that was cool, man. Wow. That's like, you just lean into about 2/3 throttle and just like, that's all you need.
And then just hold it there.
That's 4th gear.
Turbo flutter.
Yep. That's literally like 4th gear, just mat it and just let it roll on. That's wicked, man. That's super nice.
It still feels quite usable, but
Definitely, yeah. Like I say, like you don't have to go back a gear to get your power. Literally just leave it and just... That is fun. That is so much fun. Wowee. That was wide open, not gonna lie. I got there. I got there.
you can feel it.
Yeah.
The True Track diff does a good job of keeping you straight, but you can feel that those tyres are struggling.
Yeah. That was, yeah. I approve, I'm impressed.
Well, as I said, man, you helped me make it. Without you, I wouldn't have it. And I will be eternally grateful because I'm fucking stoked.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So, back. We're back again. How's that?
Yeah.
Good times, hey. Good times. And honestly, man, the bang for buck, like, it's been pretty good. But speaking of bang for buck, we've actually made a bit of a list here because a lot of people will probably be asking how much it's going to cost to do a turbo on their LS. And it's probably going to be surprising because we know that you can get, entry-level kits and stuff like that for a couple of $1,000s. But you've also got to remember that that isn't the whole lot. If you go back through our series, you can go all the way back to the very beginning. We've gone through the fuel system, we've gone through the cam install, oil pump, the cam, the heads, you know, everything that we've changed.
Timing gear.
Yep.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that we've changed, and we've basically committed the cardinal sin of adding up how much it's cost. It's one thing you probably don't want to do.
Don't keep your receipts. What? Don't let your wife see your receipts.
Yes, don't let your wife see your receipts. That is the key. But we've done a bit of a list, and we're actually going to run down how much it's cost to build a 625 horsepower VY 1-tonner. This could be an 800 horsepower tonner if we did change the turbo, and it'll be a very sort of similar cost, but let me run through it just real quick. So turbo kit and injectors, you got that second hand on Gumtree for $5,000. Yep. Pretty good deal. VZ radiator conversion, that was necessary because of the intercooler piping kit. $300 there. 2 Bosch 044 fuel pumps, $350. Speed flow, now this stuff is really expensive, but it is super high quality and it will never fail. So of all the speed flow fittings and line, O-rings and the filters, brackets, etc., you're looking at roughly $1,400. $1,350 to $1,400 was where we estimated. There was a couple of fittings that we had to swap and whatnot. 4.5 litre surge tank was $200. Cam kit, so this has got the BTR LJMS Stage 2 turbo cam, which came with the cam, the valve springs, retainers, locks, push rods, and a timing set as well. No, it didn't come with the timing set, but we did get a timing set for it. Yeah. You're looking at $1,450. That was after the exchange rate. So depending if you pick your time, you might get it a bit cheaper, a bit more expensive, just depends.
This engine already had genuine GM LS7 lifters in it.
Yep.
So if you were to doing it yourself from scratch, you'd have to buy some of them.
Yep. Yeah. So you're looking at about $350 for a set of LS7 lifters, which are definitely the ones that you would want to use if you're going.
GM LS7, yeah.
Correct.
Genuine.
Trunnion upgrade. That was $200 from Mace Engineering. The stock heads. So if you remember back in the series, the C4B heads gave us an issue with our piston to valve clearance because they'd been decked. So that was a $300 expense. You at home probably might not need to do that, but we did, so we did list it in there, $300. Melling's oil pump, that was $200. That was a stock volume high pressure pump. Rollmaster single timing chain was $145. Valve spring tool, we listed it because not everyone's going to have one, and it is something that you will need other than just your normal screwdrivers, spanners and sockets, so that's another $35. Turbo Smart fuel regulator was $250. 2-bar map sensor, which we needed, was $75. ARP head bolts, $310. Head gaskets were $120. The tune, now it's going to depend on who you go through in your local area, so you know it can vary, but from what we've noticed among most EFI tuners on the dyno, you're probably looking at about $1,000. So we'll call it $1,000 average. And then we've got things like our fluids, you know, oil, coolant, hose clamps, zip ties, vacuum line, just random sundries that you kind of need to make it all work. You're looking at about $350 or thereabouts there. These are like the small things that you probably don't necessarily count, but you definitely need. And we also, at the very end, we got 2 spare LS7 lifters, which we did weld to use as solid for when we did our piston to valve clearance. Once again, you might not need to do that at home, but we did, so that's another $50. If you add all of that up together, rough estimate, you're looking at about $11,500. So, can you do it cheaper? Absolutely you can.
Yep. We
could have done a Walbro 460 in-tank pump, which goes in a stock location with no surge tank, just slapped on the second-hand kit with some valve springs, and we estimate that that would have been done and dusted for about $7,000.
With a tune.
Yep. Down the road, $7,000. That would have probably made in the vicinity of 500, 520 horsepower on the dyno, or thereabouts, depending on how much boost you wanted to run, depending on which turbo you were running as well. With this particular turbo, that sort of style setup would net you around the 520-ish. With the cam upgrade and the extra security that we put in with the 2 extra fuel pumps, all that jazz, you'd be looking at about $7,000. So, hopefully that answers all of your questions. I want to say thank you all very much for watching this series. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you, Rob, for trusting me with your life.
It's been a blast to build it.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's been an emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely.
When it's your baby, it's an emotional roller coaster. There's been some ups and downs, a couple of dummy spits.
Yep, that's it. But it's done now.
But at the end of it, it's worth it.
That's it. Yeah. And how stoked are you?
I'm over the moon. I can't wait to just have excuses to drive this thing. Simple as that.
Well, thanks again, man, for letting us mess with your car. Thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed this series, we have got a couple of other cars listed in the pipeline that we'll be getting started on shortly, as well as my own project and Kurt's. We'll be putting a link to a couple of those videos at the end of this video. So please hit the subscribe button down the bottom there if you haven't already. Give us a big thumbs up, and thanks again all for watching. Until the next one, we'll catch you around.